right, we're going live. We got the participants joining us today. Everyone's shuffling in. Thank you for attending. Aaron, thank you for joining. Thanks for letting me spy on your ASIN, which really kicked off this webinar and this AMA session. People are really interested in it.
Absolutely.
And so what I'm thinking for today, it's going to be a little bit unconventional, right? I think we go through some logistics on like some of the estimates that I made up to do that initial analysis, and then we get into some other Q&A questions from myself along with from the audience, because there's a lot of people here that have some questions.
Excellent. Yeah, I got some screenshots. I got some, I got some good stuff. I got some good stuff on, what does it take? When do you push it? Yes, how do you have to lose money for how long? And unfortunately, I've been running low on stock because we've been selling so much that we did lose the badge about like 5 days ago. So we're number 2.
Right.
But it's because we don't have stock, so we had to raise the price. I don't know what to say, but it's okay. Still making a ton of money, and so you guys can see that, you got to keep in stock. Not, it's always a game. You don't just get one and sit there. You have to fight for it. So,
all right, so let's dive in. Can we? Before we dive in, I want to ask you 2 questions. Where are you dialing in from with that beautiful backdrop?
this backdrop is from Zoom. I bought it from Zoom. Zoom online. No, this is I'm in Clearwater, Florida. So East Coast time, and it's where I live. So, and
Awesome. And I'm dialing in today from Costa Rica. I'm actually on vacation, and I almost missed this webinar because I thought that I was on the same time zone as Eastern time, and I'm not. I'm on Central time. So everyone's just have to deal with this tank top look today and this backwards hat and this jungle behind me. All right. So without further ado, why don't we? I'm going to share my screen. I've got a lot of stuff to go through with everybody today, and you have a lot of stuff to go through with everyone today too. So let's kick it off. So this initial analysis that was posted on LinkedIn right here was me just taking some time looking at your garlic press and a lot of what like the steps you have to take to get to number 1 BSR. So when I type in garlic press right now, like you mentioned, we got our sponsored ads at the top, and then we have Zule hidden up at number 2. And I'm going to stop there for a second. I still see more people shuffling in right now. I'm going to pull up this spreadsheet. So this initial spreadsheet, like when I first started looking at your listing, I was doing a very rudimentary, very elementary analysis, right? I was like, okay, like here was it at launch, this was it at current. And these were like assumptions that I made. But then I was like, you know what? This needs to be a lot more, this like has to be deeper, because I started using Kiba. I'm not going to, I want to make sure that I'm going to respect your listing here. Pull this up here.
yeah, don't give me bad conversion rate for sure.
Exactly. Here's your ASIN right here. I'm gonna just drop this in. Gotta respect the listing. Everyone gets it, right? There we go. So now we've got your listing here. We've got all your variations, and I was just like on Keepa in the center here, looking at all the changes that you made to pricing. And I'm sure everyone that's joining right now understand. Maybe we should do a quick background, Aaron, on yourself. I think that would be helpful so everyone understands. Like maybe just a quick headline on like what you've been up to, what are you building, and then where you came from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, look, as Zulai Kitchen, like if you saw on Amazon, you must have heard of us. Like, because garlic press, like, lemon squeezer. We got a lot of products that used to be like the example products. We took them on, and the kitchen space it's pretty brutal. I don't know why I picked this space. I was checking out to source for new products, and I checked the deals page and all the sellers, and it was like 8 out of 10 kitchen brands were all Chinese-based people. So I don't know why I did this to myself, but we're attacking these categories that are just brutal and dominated by Chinese. But anyway, for whatever reason, back in 2015, I chose lemon squeezer as my first product to sell on Amazon. At the time, I just had my first child, Luna, and I was making decent money as a programmer, but I thought there's not enough time to, make. There's not enough money out there. Like you got private school, there's so much stuff. So I said, hey, somebody sold me Amazing Selling Machine, so I got started selling, and I chose a lemon squeezer. And because that went well, after about a year and a half, we got to a #1 bestseller. And I said, hey, this could be potentially real business. And I started going and started pushing that more, and then I added more products, and then those started selling out, and we started off from there. So last year, Zulai, we sold over $80 million. on Amazon and other marketplaces, retail, mom and pop shops, things like that. But anyway, revenue was pretty decent, and I've just made it my mission to find out what customers need and be the person to give them reliable products over and over and over and over. And no matter what you buy from our brand, the stuff is gonna work. And so yeah, I started with about $7,000, $4,000 to the course, $3,000 to my first launch. And now, we have several products that do over 1 million.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And what fascinated me, like I was diving deep into your product here with the garlic press because I was looking at your price oscillations. So just a quick intro on myself. I've been in the e-com space for 20 years. A lot of hair loss under this hat right here. With my own e-commerce business, we make vacuum filters, coffee filters, air filters. Still cash flowing today. Started Stubana software, sold it in 21. Started the Prosper Show with 3 other people. We sold that in 2019. And now I've been building Prophecy, which is why I've been smitten with a lot of the price changes, because we essentially change pricing for Amazon brands to maximize BSR or your profitability or your revenue. So you can pick different levers to pull to maximize different strategies that you have, all via pricing. And it looks like you're doing a whole lot of price changes to essentially to improve your BSR, your rank over time, and keep it there. So I think the best way to start today, Aaron, would be probably to go through some of these assumptions. So like I said, I was starting to do this initial analysis. And then I said, you know what, let me do a different approach. We have my initial analysis here, but like let's do it month by month and take the different prices that you have and make different assumptions here. I'm going to go to this deep analysis here. So as you can see here, we started this analysis when you first launched the product in June of 2019. My assumption, I went on Alibaba and I assumed a COGS. And I'm not necessarily asking you to share all the COGS, but you can sort of like signal to me if you think I'm like crazy far off. But I assumed a COGS to get to some of my numbers, right? To get to the bottom line profit numbers that I'm seeing here. So we made an assumption around COGS. And then we also assumed that you weren't getting organic right away. So that organic started to ramp over time very slowly, month over month.
Yeah, well, okay, so hold on. Let me just pause because I want to say, so the COGS are not far off. COGS are pretty close. I want to say that it's a bit on the expensive side. But just because, so what happens when if you do sea shipments, and we were planning for this to be a big launch, we always consolidate containers, so we almost never airship anything. And so anyway, we're a little bit lower there. And organic sales for this started really quickly. To be honest, like when you have such a low price, so I guess I don't know if I can share a screenshot or not, but I have.
Well, this is the price you started with, $745.
Yeah. So exactly, and at $749 at that time, the top sellers, and I have like a screenshot here too, but Alpha Grillers was at $13, Or Blue was at $10, and there was another person at like everybody's more expensive. So, and again, it's a bit brutal when you're the number one. Someone comes in at a price like half price or like 4% lower than you. But at that time, everyone was high. There was not a lot of people with low prices. Like right now, there's even now the prices are pretty high. So, but there's still that one guy. The one guy who's number one right now, he actually got there by going to like $6.99. He did exactly what I did. And again, this guy has a lot of variations. He just basically redid what I did. And in fact, they tried to copy our image and we tried to sue them and we went back and forth. I will still beat them because we're a stronger brand and our image is better than them. But anyway, COGS, okay, pretty close. The organic, I want to say within the first week, we started getting organic pretty high. And I have a screenshot here from September of June of 2020. So that was after a bit. But our organic sales was literally in like the 90% range. I can share that. I mean, I don't know if I have.
Sorry, in month one.
No, not month one. No. This is later. I want to put later because I don't have screenshots of everything. Yeah. I don't have all this data. Like I literally went to look it up, and some of it's gone. Like Amazon gives you 2 years back, and behind that, like if I happen to take a screenshot at that moment, but I know that first week I want to say it was probably like 20% organic, 20 to 30%. It was like pretty fast. Maybe week 2. Let's say after the first. Like,
wow. Okay.
It goes really quick because of the price. right? Sometimes people will launch at a high price with a lot of ads. And if that happens, you get very little organic. But when you launch and you're just so aggressive, right? Amazon immediately starts ranking you. It could take you less than a week to get towards the top. And we were on the first page, I want to say by day like 3 or 4. From what I remember, I don't have like the screenshots or
Well, if you
anything.
look at the median BSR here that I put here, these snapshots, you can see how the BSR changed and evolved over time, right? You dropped down to 2,200 in the 4th month, roughly.
Yep. Yeah, by October, it was already we had to start air shipping at around October. So if you see this went very fast. And when that price, I actually have the date there in October when I raised the price. Because you said $8.99 on that like 4th, I guess that's month number 4 around there. Yeah,
Yep.
right there. We were running out of stock. And we air shipped. And that shipment, we paid another $1 and change per item to basically, yeah, break even there. Like, let's say we took all of our profit and put it into air shipment to not run out of stock. And then what happens is while that stock is waiting to arrive and everything like that, good, raise the price even more and keep it so it's not running out of stock, and you make sure that BSR doesn't go too far off. So it did get worse, right, to 5,500, but that's when we're about to run out of stock, and then we got it back in and we're able to sell a little bit higher price. So it's a bit the way that what's really off here is that organic percentage. By the time we're in October, that's already probably like 50% organic, not that 10%. That's probably the biggest error here, where when it's an attractive offer, you have a beautiful image, you have low price, your organic is going to go really, really fast. It doesn't take very long.
And when you first launched, did you have all the variations that you have today? Was that part of the strategy?
Mm, yes and no. So the first time of launch, it wasn't. So when we did our first reorder, we saw that the item was hot and we saw that it was actually going very well. And then we added the 4 variations. So I want to say on that restock, and I actually have, let me see if I have the screenshot copper. So I know for sure, like right now on my screenshots, I'm saying in May, we had them. So we put it in production. I have a big launch. Garlic presses are live on Amazon. And this is in May. So you could check, check Wayback Machine. I know in May we went live. It's possible that until May we only had that one variation. So could it have been earlier potentially? But May of 2020,
Okay.
we launched 4 items hard, and we did a lot of Amazon posts. At that time, Amazon posts was really hot. We're doing 6 Amazon posts every single day. So we did a lot of Amazon posts, the organic stuff, because if you win on the organic, you're going to win the whole fight.
Mm-hmm. Now, can we talk? The reason why I was talking about variations, I was thinking about our assumed conversion rate, right? So I assume that with more reviews, that you're going to have a higher conversion rate. I typically see on Amazon, sometimes even more than a 10% conversion rate, but can we speak to sort of the starting conversion rate and the ending
Oh, no,
conversion rate
definitely
that I
not
assumed?
2%. That's crazy. No. Way higher than that. Like, oh, I don't know if Chad, if you've launched these items really anytime recently, right? When you have a price that is extremely competitive in the market, your conversion rate on day 1 could be 10-15%, right? It's like it's very high, and I can even check what we have approximately right now, and I probably won't give an exact number, but
Anyways.
they're pretty high. There's when you're so cheap, people just buy. They don't even care if it's bad. That's the crazy thing. And they're smart. People are smart. So let me see conversion rate right now. Let me just see if I can. I'm not going to share it, but I'll tell you just the general range. Yeah.
By the way, I want this to be interactive, so there is a Q&A in the Zoom chat. If anybody wants to, or maybe I forgot to ask a question and they're itching to ask it. There was a question that came in from Alon. How do you decide if it's time to start increasing price? Do you wait to hit a certain organic ranking target?
Yeah. So here's generally how I do this. So by the way, I checked it, and our conversion rate is like well over 15% right now. Like I won't share,
Okay.
but it's like
So it's
up
very
there.
close. Like my
Now,
ending conversion rate was around 20%. So not so
yeah.
far off.
Now, that's pretty close. And I would say at the start, right? I don't think the reviews will double. So let me actually see if I can go back 2 years ago, because it doesn't go back more than 2 years. But our conversion rate, I want to say like first week was already above 10%. Pretty sure about that, right? Just because, guys, the price, like that's it. That's all really people care about a lot of times, right? And that's what Jeff Bezos pushes all the time and the whole team and Amazon. They do these like you're guaranteed to have a lower price than everywhere else because people care about that and they do price shopping.
Mhm.
And that's why like some of these Temu and these guys do go crazy. Even they can wait for it. But if you get cheap and fast, which is Amazon, people will buy. Even if your listing is ugly. Like if our thing was ugly, maybe it would have less organic and we'd have to spend a little more ads, but people would still buy at a pretty high conversion rate when you are the cheapest on the page. And so let me circle back now to answer this question. How do you decide to raise the price? How long can you withstand the pain is a question. Okay. Like that's the question because there's a hidden lever on Amazon, which is the affiliate program. Okay. And the affiliate program or the Amazon Associates program, people write about things all the time. And there's articles. If you search like best garlic presses on Amazon right now, you'll find people who write articles and they don't even buy the garlic presses. I tried to do this business before I started selling private label and I failed at it miserably, but I understand it. So you do like an article and it just says best 5 garlic presses on Amazon. And then you do pros and cons and you do these articles and people send a lot of traffic to Amazon. Right? Typically from Google, because they go to Google, they search the article, they go, oh, wow, Zulai's great, and they send it. The more time you spend at the top, the more people will write about you, the more people will buy you, the more people will have those repeat purchases. So when you stick with that price, you're just establishing your foothold. You're establishing that footprint of how long are you going to stay in one spot, and it increases that foundation for when you raise your price. Hey, are you still sticking there? And how long can you stay in the top 3, in the top 2, in the top 1? And so I normally try to, if you look at this sheet, we tried first to raise our price 50 cents, then $1, and then just kind of hold on for a while. Keep that for a while. Keep it for a month. Keep it for 2 weeks, and see one is the profit per day higher, right? We track profit per day extremely heavily, and with our Software Samurai seller, like we look by the day. Right? Unlike Seller Board or any of these other ones, we actually calculate how much storage your item has, how much refunds per item. Like there's so much data we get per SKU, and we can see, hey, how much profit is that thing making every day? And then when you raise your price, hey, did the profit go up? Because if the profit didn't go up, right? Let's say week by week, there's no reason to have a higher price, right? And
Okay,
I'm not talking about per
hold
unit.
on,
Yeah, go ahead.
so if your profit didn't go up, but you've been able to maintain you're obviously using price strategically, right? You experimented with 48 different price points in the first 15 months. So you're not just tracking profit, right? You're definitely tracking BSR too to see what the
Yes.
effect is on profit and how does that balance? Like what's your BSR to profit ratio?
So one thing to check is this, right? So typically, let's say you're selling, okay, 200 units a day, 100 units a day, 50 units a day, and you raise your price by $1. Most of the time, the first step, most of the time, your profit should be up, right? Because you go from 50 units to maybe 45 or 42 or something like that, but you made 70 cents more per unit every time. Your profit should be up. But if your profit's not up, like let's say first day, second day, third, like if you're not, it's not going to go up higher because a higher price will not rank you better. Pretty much almost never. Like it's very unlikely for a higher price to actually rank you better. So you'll say when you raise your price, you're going to lose volume of sales, almost guaranteed. Okay. So the only reason you'd want to raise your price is if it's bringing you more profit. So that's the first check. Okay. Put your price up. Is your profit up? Because most of the time your profit will go up. But now the next check is, did your units drop too high? Are you losing your ranking very fast? Are you losing the momentum? Because if your profit went up and you're losing only a little bit of momentum, then you keep it. If you go, hey, your sales dropped in half, but your profit's still up, that's possible, right? If you're making 20 cents a unit, you go up by $1, your profit
Okay.
could still go up even if your units go half.
So obviously I've systemized this with prophecy, but I want to talk about your system. Like, do you have a team in place that's actually checking all these various different inputs in a spreadsheet?
I was doing it myself.
But what do
So
you do now,
um,
right?
I,
You're much larger now, right? You have many more SKUs, you have many different variations. How do you manage it all?
so I only have 2 people really that are doing this now, and we do it less with items that are not launching, right? Because I mean, yeah, maybe again we've talked about prophecy, and like I should probably try it. Like honestly, like there's items that we're not changing pricing, and I think that we should be. So with over like let's say 1,000 SKUs, a bunch of items that we have, I can't do everything myself. But typically on the launches, I'll pay more attention and I will actually focus on it because it's going to be make or break.
Mm.
When things have been around for, many years or whatever, like, okay, cool, hey, try higher price, and then someone looks at it, the exact process, I haven't written it down, right?
But
I just
on your newer launches, are you launching with variations now? I know on the garlic press you didn't, but
normally,
like the milk frother
yes.
or
Yeah,
all your new
it was like
products.
almost 5 years ago. So now we do launch with variations, whenever we can, whenever we can. Like I try to do at least 3 variations to start anything ever. And just now it just released, like, on the search on Amazon, variations will show up. That's a brand new thing that just I saw it for the first time
Yep.
on my phone like 2 days ago.
So let's
So
just say I made an assumption here in this spreadsheet while we're talking about variations, since we're on it.
sure.
I assume that at least 25% of your customers opted for a higher price variation. Is that,
That's again, that's in the realm of reality.
and then how do you choose? So when we go to this garlic press here and we go to these different variations, right? You've got your gateway drug, you've got the 12.99 hero, but then you have, let's just say, rose gold at 19.99. How do you choose these? I see also that you're changing these prices often as
And we
well.
change
How,
those prices too. So
what's
like
your strategy?
right now, like copper right now is actually cheaper. If you go copper, it should be like 9.99. Why? Is because we're running out of stock, right? So when we're actually low on stock, we want people to opt for another color. But typically we use them as an upsell. And then of course if something like isn't moving, we might bring it down to do some sort of deals. Why is because, guys, I need to make sure that these items are worth the logistical added, nightmare, so to speak, right? To keep, whatever 10 items in stock is a lot more complex than keeping one item in stock. Like by far, it's actually and more cash flow. It is a bit of a problem. So how do you justify it? If I can only sell the product at the same price, I don't think I should even have another SKU. It needs to be able to pull its weight at a higher price. That's how I've done it. And I've tried other things. I mean, sometimes you'll try, like, you take a really ugly color. I've done this too. I've tried it. But so far, I don't love it. You'll take an ugly color and put it lower than everything. And then you can push that one. And they're like, oh, this lime green is disgusting. And they buy the other one. And sometimes it works. It works sometimes like water bottles or
I think
different
that's called a,
categories. So
I
it's
think
something to try.
that's called a decoy pricing strategy. So, so back to this listing here, reflecting on your journey, because this is one of your earlier products that you launched. Is there anything that you would have done differently with the benefit of hindsight?
Yeah, so if we look at the images, I mean, if I would start this over, all I would do is have this image. This image is probably our like maybe our 14th image, the main image for this product, and I would have started with this one. And this one it's protectable because it's very special. The way we press it, the way we do everything, the angle, like it's unique. It's not. It actually stands out from everything. So it's just a beautiful image, and we would have started with this one. It would have been faster, right? So we started with another. I have, if you had that Wayback Machine, or I have also a screenshot, but the image we had before was very, I would say, kind of normal, just kind of a very usual image, and we've upgraded over time. So probably just doing an image, but otherwise, I mean, the product is fantastic. It's one of our, I don't know, I think top 15 items, so it's up there, and like, why would I do it differently? It's killing it. You know what I mean? It's doing
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
So
Okay, let's get to some questions. We're gonna do a lightning round here. Let's see. How long do you maintain the lower price? I feel like we got to that. Do you have a quick headline on that you want to share?
yeah, I would say that you also, so in this case, and again, some of this I don't know how to automate it, but we look at that bestseller ranking page often. Okay, we actually take screenshots, we look at it, we keep track of it, and a lot of times, if a new person's coming in and they're trying to do the same thing, I don't know, they put a garlic press at like $5.99. Okay, and hey, right now I'm at $14.99 or I'm at $13.99 or whatever, and they're coming in and they're moving their BSRs moving fast, getting like catching up. I might just bring it down to $9.99. $9.99 is a beautiful price because Amazon gives you discounts on FBA fees on I think almost every category. That's new. They replaced Small and Light with this one. Small and Light was way better, but fine, this is fine. So $9.99, and then I'll stay there rather than have them take the market share. You have to block and defend, and normally these people will give up. So you have to watch the landscape, right? If everyone's like high price or someone's, no one's really going aggressive, then typically my price is going to be higher, right? Because I know that I can stay there. But when it's going in really hard and you just have a lower price, you might lose a little bit, some profit per day or whatever, but who cares? Like you're in a battle, you're in a constant battle Sometimes someone's coming after you. You have to get that lower price, and other times you don't. But if it's your very first launch, you're not already at the top. If you're not number one or you're not up to where you want to be, then you don't need to raise your price. However, here's the thing. Here's a tip. If you're not improving in rank or BSR and you have a non-profitable price, then you're not in the right formula. You're not in the right direction. You can't just keep the lower price and have the pain longer because you're not moving. The low price is supposed to add market share. If the low price is not adding market share, it means you have another issue. You have an ads issue, you have an image issue, you have a reviews issue, you have a product issue, you have another issue. While you have the low price, it's only working if you're adding that market share. If you're not adding market share and you're losing money, then you're not accomplishing anything. You're just failing. So you need to figure out what to tweak and not just keep the low price and one day it's going to pop off.
All right, Aaron, we have 15 more questions, and I want to make sure we get to all of them because this is
Let's
not
go.
just my Ask Me Anything. This is everyone's Ask Me Anything. So this is the community here. Yoel Clar writes, why would you want to share your data?
Why do I want to share my data? I mean, look. So realistically, the guys who are going to play this game I've seen so far are really mostly the Chinese. If you look at the person who just took the top spot, it's the Chinese person. They're the guys who really go really hard. And if you're watching this webinar and you decide tomorrow to launch a garlic press, if that's the reason you decided to launch a garlic press, most likely you're going to fail because you haven't reviewed the market. You're not really a real competitor to me because you're already going to know, damn, did I do this? There are people that watch this stuff and launch stuff, and sometimes they do take some market share and it's not a fantastic. But at the same time, I'm playing a bigger game. So we're actually buying companies now. Like we're now in beauty, we're in supplements, we're in health, we're in so many different categories. And so I don't really share. So we also take investments for acquisition of brands. So we've closed 2 funds so far. It's called Nexus Capital, aaroncordovez.com/invest if you wanted to invest. And so I share the brand that I own entirely, but I won't share investor brands. And I won't go into that because for me, I look at the big game where I want people to sell. And in fact, most people here, I don't see any Chinese names here, right? There might be. I don't mind, like people are, Chinese people going, but our audience is typically not the Chinese, right? And I believe the US sellers should be a higher percentage. The only reason the Chinese are winning is because they do a different strategy and they're more aggressive. It's not because you can't say an excuse that because they're a factory, they're going to do better than you. It's actually not true. Factory margins are around 10% or less. 10% on your COGS will not make or break your winning or losing. So I want to have more people based in the United States to do better on Amazon because it's a community. Because I can maybe go and buy your brand. If you learn how to sell on this and you make a brand and you didn't send me a brand to buy it, I win, you win, everybody wins. So I'm not too worried about this. The actual competitors in a space like this are going to be 1, 2, or 3. And most people, and I've seen people, like I share my frother, it's our top seller, this. I've been in a mastermind of 20 people, all massive 8-figure sellers and plus. And I've had multiple people try to do a milk frother and fail. People who already are doing tens of millions. So, okay, fine. I also will sell a water bottle.
And Aaron, why did they fail though? What was the reason for you think them outside of the fact that they copied you? Why did they fail?
Because they're not me. Because the big point, I don't know, this product, I didn't pick it just because it's the garlic press and it was fun to talk about. Although that was one of my primary reasons. I looked and the number 1 seller at the time was Alpha Grillers. If you go to Alpha Grillers, they're number. That thing kind of sucks, I have to say. It's clunky. It's very hard to clean. The piece can get lost. That was number 1. Okay, that was the number 1 at the time, and I hated it. Actually, my wife is I hate this thing. She's literally complaining how terrible this garlic press is. And so I got a few, and I had her pick some, and they said the one that's number 1 right now. That model. She said this is amazing. She was so happy about it, and I go, listen, it's my job now to bring something better to market and transform the market. I've never really won a market hard if we didn't actually change the landscape and bring something better than what existed. And so most of the time when people go to the milk frother, they pick the same looking one as me, but mine is better because I've gone through 9 different iterations of motors, maybe even more, different changes, the size, no one is going to make a better milk frother than mine, okay? And then then they're not going to have more colors than I have. So what are they going? What are they bringing to the market? They're not bringing anything to the market, and that's when people fail. They're not even like trying, right? They're just copying and not bringing something new. So the reason
And
the Garlic Press won, it was new to the market. The reason the Milk Frother won, it was new to the market. Nobody had colors. Nobody had what we're doing. So anyway, that's how you win.
Aaron, can you talk about your strategy around? I see two different listings for milk frother. Can you just talk about that? I saw that with the lemon squeezer as well.
Yep. So when you win, you want to keep winning. And so remember I was talking about like that defense. So that the item on the right, the cogs are it's a lot less than our main one, right? The motor is a little bit less strong. The body is less plastic. It doesn't have a stand. Like it's actually just a lower price model. So what'll happen if someone's coming in hard, that I can bring that down to $499, and I don't even. I could potentially, depending on ads and everything, I may not lose money. Okay, like this is the defense. It's created to be the lower price. Because when you win a market, you have to defend it, you have to nurture it. And so this is our strongest market. So we literally have, I don't know, 11 different models of milk frother. We have a massive, huge release coming up next month. And then in the summer, we have another massive release in the milk frother category. Because I know it's my job to keep improving this market, right? I can't just sit there. I can't be the blockbuster that just kind of like sat there, charge everybody these massive, horrible late fees, get everybody pissed off with them, and then let Redbox or Netflix come in and smash you. No, Blockbuster should have been releasing the streaming, releasing when you're at the top, you need to be working just as hard as what you did to get there. And so that's what these listings are. Like we're developing on this. We meet more on this and adding different innovations here than anything else.
All right, so let's go back to these projections. So then you mentioned advertising. And so when we first launched this, in your first launch, I assumed that there was less PPC inflation then than now. It was in 2019. And I assumed $1, right? Right now, I'm assuming roughly about $1.50. But that was a big assumption that I made. So conversion rate was a big driver along with the cost of acquisition.
Yeah, so the big piece is, I mean, where's the tacos on there? You said tacos in here somewhere? No.
And well, we've got your ad spend right here.
Okay, ad spend. So if we look, I have I'll read you the screenshot. Unless can you let me have a screen share, or is that not a?
Yeah. Should I stop sharing and let you share?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll share this right here, this is June of 2020, guys. And just one variation is all the variations. All right. And what I want to show you right here, like the tacos, the day before was 14%, but that day we we lowered the ads, and it's a 5% tacos. Okay. The ad spend literally is we lowered it down to $58 a day. This is making a ton of cash right here. And I'm gonna stop sharing this because there's a lot of data there. But that's our software samurai seller. And we look at this every single day, how much we're spending, how much is the profit, how like all these different things are extremely important because if you spend 5% instead of 10%, you could like double your profit and potentially still keep your rank, right? You don't have to always be in the top spot. You can be in the third spot. You can be in the second spot. You could just be in no spot. If you have that top organic and everyone who's advertising is at $13 and you're at $9, you could still get a lot of the similar sales with less advertising. So we spent a lot less advertising than you'd think because of that low price. And guys, the reason I'm sharing is because I do think you should do this. There's $600 billion. We don't even have 0.01%. Wait. Yeah, I think we have 0.01%. Okay, so 1 out of 10 every $10,000 in sales. That's about how much we make on Amazon. Really, that's like a drop in the bucket compared to it's ridiculous. So there's no scarcity, no craziness here. There's enough room for everybody to make. I've seen some products that people launch where that we would never think existed.
Cool. So I've got an anonymous attendee here. How does Gorilla Grip get away with charging more than anyone yet maintain #1 seller on many products?
I know these guys. They're actually very good sellers. Like
Are they
right
doing
now,
giveaways?
here's the
What do you think they're
problem.
doing?
No, they're clean, man. They're clean. They are clean. I would say, okay, Let me give you a story of my own failures, and we're gonna go after this now. So they have, for example, that one of the top can openers, maybe even the number one. Okay, we have in Zulai Kitchen, we have launched can openers 5 times. Okay, 5 times, and every single time they get a huge like. Every time it's been one of our top sellers. Okay, unfortunately, our product actually sucked after like a month, 2 months, 3 months. Like it started, it wasn't a good supplier. We sourced it with a bad factory. Okay, we thought it was good and it wasn't. So we had this big rise. We've gotten to like number 3 can opener before in like a month or two, and it took us so long to learn that the quality is so important. And Gorilla Grip, we're actually working with the same supplier that they have right now, and their can openers are so good. They're the top guys. They supply all the humongous billion-dollar brands. Okay, and so what happens is they do a good job in the fundamentals, which is make a great product. And if you have a great product, like it can stay there, and you can have that, you know, avalanche happen. You can have that snowball effect. And so we'll see. Like, give me like 3 years. Let's see if we get the number one can opener, and we'll have it at the high price just like then. So it's honestly, it's because they're good at fundamentals and because they have a core thing going. I really don't think they're a company. There are some people who do giveaways. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, even recently. One time we bought, oh my gosh, we actually had a massive, huge aggregator person. They did these humongous giveaways and they literally got shut down. Massive, like guys that have hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions, literally had a listing shut down like literally 2 weeks ago. So people are doing shady stuff, but Gorilla Grip, I don't think it's one of them. As much as I would say anything about them, I think they're a great brand and they actually stick to fundamentals. That's
So
why they're high
fundamentals.
prices.
Got it. Okay, cool. So Steve Stratton comes in. He says, "Great information. So for the milk frother and the garlic press, what is your tacos?" It's no way it is 5% now.
Oh, it's pretty close. Pretty close. I'm not going to share it exactly, but we're not. Look, I've seen. Here's what some people do. This is a problem with tacos, guys, and what a mistake that I've seen, because I've talked to these guys that are in a similar category to us. They have a $2 product. It costs them $2. They sell it at 20. Okay, which essentially to me is like they're ripping people off. Okay, that's the truth. Like it's actually a ripoff. Most of the products in the category are $9 or $15. They're at 20, and their tacos is like 28, 30, 33. And you go like, oh my gosh, we do this because it's so competitive. No, it's because your product, the conversion rate and the click rate and everything suck ass because it's a bad offer. You can't, like, we're not in cosmetics. If you're like, I don't know, Kylie Jenner or something, and you're selling some whatever lip balm, whatever eyeliner thing for $40, and it costs you $2, that's okay because people know they're getting ripped off because it's the brand name and it's the hype and it's whatever. When you're a brand on Amazon, you have no celebrity, you have no real brand name, and you try to overinflate your product, you will need a 30% tacos, 40% tacos. I've seen it before. Typically, that's because your offer is kind of crap. And you can have, so typically where we like to have tacos is somewhere between 5% and 15%. And it depends if we're going after market share, right? Or we're trying to have more profit, or we're low on stock or high on stock, but generally we're in the range of 5 to 15%.
So Aaron, let's get back to the offer.
Any product higher than that.
Separate from price and your ranking strategies, Maya Smith asked, "Are you designing your own products, or are you just using generic design from China?"
We try to design as much as we can. Like I was actually thinking after you asked me, like, hey, what would you do different in the garlic press? If we were able to actually make a design patent on that, it would be way more defensible. And that would have been what I would have done differently. If I could do a little specific design, how could I change it? And we are doing more design now. I have more people working on designs of products now than ever in our history. Why? Because that is what the big guys do in our space, right? That's Lifetime Brands, that's OXO, that's even Gorilla Grip. I mean, Gorilla Grip, not so much, okay? But a lot of the big brands, they do special items, right? And I've seen some of these, we have spec sheets for all our products, exactly how it is, the measurements, the designs, and we do that. And even if we're going to get kind of an off the shelf, a lot of times we'll do little tweaks, right? And I've seen sheets for one product that says it's $100 that has, no joke, about like 140 different specifications of the item. The screws here, the thing, like it's crazy the amount of work that some of these companies put into the product. And typically where we lose as the Amazon seller community is not doing enough of that product development. And you'll see we do have some patents, some items. I've designed some items. I have a few patents. and our team has designed some stuff, and we also sometimes get exclusive, right? So if our factory is working on something, like we'll tell them, hey, we'll buy this much, we'll guarantee this much orders, but we're going to be exclusive. So it's kind of like we designed it, because a lot of times all they need to do is sell a certain amount of volume, and they're doing research and development, whether it's done in China, whether it's done here. Like you guys work together, and it's always better to have something special, but we do both.
Okay, so how do you find the right manufacturer? Like a number one tip. You don't need to go into and write an essay or a thesis on this, but like what's one big giveaway or big tip or nugget that you have for people listening in on quality, sourcing?
Man, if you okay, I almost don't want to say this, but I'll mention it. Like, just I already alluded to it. Okay, find the top person supplier. Find the exports. If you go to Import Yeti, you can find out, like, search by an HTS code, right, of like a category, and be like, who has exported more of that product in China than anyone else, and you can find them. And often you can't find the phone number, but hire a person in China to go and walk to the address, knock on the door, and talk to the general manager. So you can find address notes on the import records and literally right there find top suppliers for products. That is huge.
By the way, you can also block your import records, just so everyone knows.
Very
So
important.
if you haven't done it, do it today, but you can essentially create confidentiality around your import records and make sure that it's protected. Big, big, big takeaway. Cool. All right, let's hop into Ben E's question here. Zule has some of the best creative in the biz. Can you talk through your process for optimizing creative? How often are you testing new images? How are you measuring success? Do you have an internal team you've built within Zule, or do you outsource to an agency and provide them a brand book or brand guidelines? And this is a shout out from a fellow Clearwater, Florida seller.
Nice. So if you search like listing teardown Aaron Cordovez. I have a few videos live, and you can watch me like tear down a listing. I just did it yesterday with our team.
Real quick, just on this, like, are you outsourcing these images? Do you do them internally?
Oh no,
Like,
no, that
what's your
piece.
process?
No, we're all in house. Everything's in house. We've tried a few people, and the problem with the outsourcing is that I think you can do it if that's all you have, and we did that at the beginning. But tell you what, I ran these guys like when I met anybody in a social setting, and they were a photographer. No matter what, I would get them to photo shoot something, a milk froth or a lemon squeeze or something, and I'd say I want to check because I want to find the best photographer. And now what we do, if we find a good person, we're like, hey, how much would it take for you to come work full time for me? Like a lot of the guys on the call, like you can afford to hire people. So if you meet a photographer, get them to do product photography. How much is it going to cost? $300, $400? Like, it's not going to cost you $2,000 or to get some pictures of a product. Like, I don't think there's a product photography person in the world that does that, unless, I don't know, Kylie
Do you
Jenner's
A/B
photographer.
test your images
A lot of A/B testing. We do a lot of A/B testing, but
using
A/B
Amazon's A/B
testing.
tester, or using like an
No,
external?
Amazon's A/B testing is terrible because it doesn't change the click through rate. Amazon's A/B, we do it anyway sometimes, but I hate it. I hate it because it only A/B tests once they're in the listing. So if one item has like a half of a click through rate and 1% higher conversion rate, then it's gonna win, but it's not a better image. So Amazon's A/B testing sucks because it doesn't check click through rate. But
What are you doing?
we'll put up
Pictu?
an image and we'll check BSR. We'll check how the ads do. We'll check the ACOS. You could check everything right when you put up the image and check for like 2-3 days. And compare it to the 2-3 days at the same time that a week before. It's all like I do a lot of this stuff manually, and I'm sure it's not ideal, but A/B tests on Amazon, do not trust it. Do not trust it. In fact, put two images of the same image, and sometimes you'll see they'll recommend one. They'll recommend one over the other, right? That's a famous test. I think Jungle Scout did it. Like, you put two of the same, and Amazon will be like, this one is better, like 90% probability, and it's the same image. So I don't know. I don't trust A/B testing there. So anyway, we do this stuff in-house, and if you need to build out that in-house capability, because that's what you have. Unless you are, again, a massive brand and your specialty is product and you're the best product person, you have to develop the internal creative. And I do the teardowns. You can do teardowns too. I found most people can do their own listing teardowns if they just open their listing with the designer or with anybody on the team and look at it. Look at your thing and you can find things to improve, period. Most people do not open it and do not even check their image out.
Can you talk about your promotion? Do you run promotions, deals, coupons, pads, etc.?
Yeah, so Coupons, I just don't like it because of the fees. You know, so sometimes they're worth it. I don't do a lot. One thing that's working really well right now is the Prime exclusive discounts. What we've seen, and again, you have to test it yourself before you do on a best product. But if you have a product, let's say $20, and you normally run a lightning deal, so we like 7-day deals are the best typically for us. 7-day deals are awesome. Lightning deals are okay sometimes, but 7-day deals are awesome. But if you have a product at $19.99 and like your deal price is normally, let's say, 16, you could sometimes run a Prime exclusive discount, let's say at 17, 18, and it won't change always your actual deal price. So you could play with that. I mean, it's kind of a funky like area because I think sometimes it has changed it before, but Amazon maybe made it so it doesn't change it, so people could run more deals at higher prices. I don't know why they did it, but Prime exclusive discounts we do quite often. 7-day deals, almost if a product has it, we almost always run it because they're amazing. 7 deals are amazing. You get a boost on Amazon. It gives you enough time where you actually change your ranking, and it puts you in that space where it's amazing. I mean, 7 deals are awesome.
Are you running any ads off Amazon?
A little bit, a little bit. So we're getting into it now, and if anybody's like a massive like Facebook freaking crazy guru, please reach out to me like on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever, because I want to get better at the Facebook, like Facebook, Meta, TikTok to the website, because people do that, and if you can break even, they will buy on Amazon. I've worked with many brands that do it, and they do extremely well.
But it's
I
not
haven't
really part of
how
your
to do it yet.
strategy right now, though. That's the important
No, no,
thing.
no. I'm
It's
saying
actually,
if
but
anybody's doing it, I want to do it. Part of my strategy. No, we do. Again, we're big on like social media, like organic. We're working on that. Okay. Um, there's what. Okay, fine. I'll just talk about it. But one thing that's one of our best social medias is actually Pinterest. Pinterest is big in the kitchen space, recipes, things like that. So it's not paid. We do organic. We really do organic. Social media. Like we had one video that went viral, like 1.5 million views on our Instagram Reels. So we work on it. We have a team. It's not a big piece. Okay. The most if you're gonna do outside traffic, here's what you should do. First, make sure you're actually optimizing your own ads on Amazon and you've learned it extremely well. And you're optimized and you're doing extremely well. And you can't spend more. Like it's not like if you spend more, you're gonna just waste it. You're on all the keywords. And if you've maxed out, then go and be like, hey, I want to do Google ads. Until then, you're wasting it because we spend 98, 99% of our ad spend is on Amazon. So the rest of it is like cool and like, hey, can you do little organic things or go viral? You can. That's not my specialty. Some people, hey, they do a big TikTok campaign and then they go to #1 on Amazon just because everyone wants to buy them in the branded search stuff. But I'm not good at that, so I can't give you tips on it.
all right, we got a good one coming in from Wes, my man Wes Hagerman. How much does your pricing decisions consider the impact to reviews? Lower price, does it mean better value? Does it equal higher star reviews, higher conversion, better organic placement? Do you think about that relationship much?
I wish I tested it, but I think there must be a relationship. I haven't tested it. So like we just bought a brand, and their main product is at 4.2 stars. We're resourcing it. We're get the emails out. He's back. You wanted to go to the beach.
I dropped for a second. That's what happens when you're in a second world country. Sorry about that.
Anyway, yeah, it's all good. I forgot the question, but I can go
You're
to
still
another
rolling.
one.
You're still rolling. You're good. Everyone can hear it. So
Yeah, yeah.
even without me on. All right. So
Excellent.
we got about 10 minutes left. There's a few other questions that came in. I want to make sure these are answered. What frequency do you change or modify SEO on the listing? So on page optimization, how frequently are you making adjustments and
Not enough,
changes?
man. Not enough. We kind of suck at it, to be honest. We really suck at the like text. But I think honestly, your text on your image, unless you have like some crazy thing, it's the impact of your SEO on your sales and everything. I want to say it's less than a 5% lever. Like if someone loves the image, right, and they love the images or they love the image and the video, who cares? Like I don't know. We are not so good at it. I've typically had literally a person in the Philippines or in Pakistan. write the listings, and I haven't checked the text on a listing for a long time. So I honestly, the answer is never, almost never. Like we don't really check on that. In fact, like I'm doing a course right now. Like if you subscribe to my podcast or you sign up for my newsletter or whatever, I'm doing a course and I'm launching a whole new brand with nobody's help and no nothing. And right now I'm at the point of writing the listing, and I'm like, hey, whose strategy can I follow? Because we don't even like have a strategy of writing text. So the first time is like all over the place, and we don't focus on it because I think it's a tiny lever and it's not going to huge deal. So we kind of I don't put a lot of attention on it. That's the real answer.
All right. No, I appreciate your honesty, obviously. Anonymous here. What would you say is the biggest reason U.S. Amazon sellers' margin decreased over the years? Increase in PPC costs, Chinese competition selling at lower prices, forcing us to lower price. What could we do to increase margin?
Okay, so I believe first of all, track it. Okay, and somewhere here I have a special deal for guys on this webinar for Samurai Seller software on here.
Yeah, let me pull
Track
it
it
up
every
now.
day.
Let
You
me
have to
pull it up
actually
now, by the
watch
way.
your margin. Yeah.
Let me pull it up right here.
Yeah.
So here's a
Yeah.
30-day free for Samurai Seller tracking.
Yeah, so samuraiseller.com/Chad, because we're on with Chad right now. So you'll get 30 days free for Samurai Seller if you haven't, tried it. And even if you have tried it before, if you want to try it again, we've done so many updates. But know what's happening every single day and know what happens. Hey, if you raise your price $1, what happens to your margins? And keep track of that like a laser. Okay. You can't check your P&L once a month, once a year. Like you can't do that. You have to be on your margin. You have to know before that comes in what your margin would be and then take steps to control it. Things to increase it. Okay. Better variations, the premium offer of it. Okay. Resourcing it to either be cheaper or actually better than everyone else in the market. So a lot of times your reviews, you can reuse them, right? If you have a can opener and you do a different type of can opener, a lot of times those reviews can be used the same, right? You're a different size than you were before. So a lot of those reviews you can move over. So improve your product to be something more premium you can charge more, right? Or that costs you less. That's an easy way to increase margin. Another one, don't worry too much about your margin percentage, guys. There's a publicly traded company called Cisco, the guys that deliver food and stuff. They're SYSCO. Their margin is something like 3.5%, but they make billions in profit. I don't care about the percentage. You're growing in profit, right? As long as you're profitable. Like, I'd rather make, $1 million profit than profit margin than 2,000 at a 30% profit margin. Like, who cares about the percentage? So I honestly like drop it. Don't put too much focus on it. There's a seller that I know that's in the top 30 on seller ratings, and their margins are around 6.5%. But they have so much volume and they're extremely rich and doing crazy well. It's fine if your profit margin is small. It's not a big deal. But are you in a total higher profit than before? And the way you track that is again monitoring it day to day, right? Also, if you had to lower your price to be number one, that could be a reason, sure, right? But if your profit you maintained it and your percent, then who cares, guys? Like, who cares? And the reason, sorry, to give you a reason, Amazon, their ad revenue went up like 5 bajillion X. Okay. They went from like half a billion to like 30 billion. Okay. Their own margin has increased. So your margin will be lower because of ads. If you didn't increase your margin elsewhere, your margin will be lower. Our margin is lower. Okay. But we still made more money last year than we made the year before. Even if the percentage is lower, our total amount went up because you're going to add market share. You're going to add total margins will go down over time because Amazon's margin is going up. So what are you going to do about it? Make sure you do stuff. I don't know, like new products.
All right, before we get back to this lightning round of questions, I've got a offer from Prophecy, right? Obviously, you can do it the labor intensive and the risky way that Aaron is doing his ranking with his listings, or you can use Prophecy to automate it with AI. And so here we train our models. And so if you scan that QR code or if you email chad@prophecy.com, in the subject, just write cream, CREAM, cash rules everything around me. Email me cream in the title. I'll get you 1 month free of hyper learning to train our model to learn it so we can actually maximize whatever you want to, whether it's BSR, whether it's revenue, whether it's profitability. All right, back to you, Aaron. I want to make sure that we're maximizing this session. I think we have 4 minutes left. So we've got Joe here. How do you select the right price to launch your new item yet? Like, how do you select the actual right price upon launch? Is it just the cheapest price in the market? How do you figure that out?
Yes. So I if you could be the cheapest price of the market, that's obviously the best. Okay. So the lowest. Sometimes that's hard. But in some cases, we found where if we're at 20% ROI, so we look at ROI a lot. Okay. It's a whole formula and calculation. We do it in Samurai, but like I want to be at like at least 10%, 20% ROI ideally. And sometimes if that price is already giving us the lowest in the market, we'll go up a little bit higher. But typically when you're starting, just know there's no other reason people are going to buy you unless you have a crazy brand name or you have a crazy price. That's pretty much it. So go in as aggressive as you can stomach, right? And yes, almost in the first week, you're almost no matter what going to lose money. You know, you will lose money for a little bit. Just deal with it. And then make sure you're increasing your market share, right? Again, back to what I said
Mike,
before.
Mike,
Do
Mike
not have a low
Twofer.
price and lose money and don't gain market share.
There's always that trade-off. Mike Twofer writes, many of our products are not eligible for 7-day deals, but they are brand registered, legit, long history on selling on Amazon, etc. Do you know why or how we can get them to be eligible?
I believe it has to do with volume. Okay. So that deals page is real estate that Amazon doesn't want to share items that are either very niche, like very niche products, or just if you're selling like 10 units a day, a lot of times you're not going to be eligible. A lot of our items are not eligible. It has to be the high volume ones. Amazon wants to believe that it has a general attractiveness to the general customer. And so how do you solve that? Sell more units. I don't know. Like when you get to the number one in the category, you're almost always going to be offered deals. So just sell more.
All right, this is a great question, also from an anonymous attendee. Would you ever enter a market where there's an established non-Amazon brand that is performing really
Oh
well,
yeah.
top of search?
That's some of those are the best. Some of those are the best. Those guys don't do what we do. They might soon. Some of them do actually. Like is it Procter and Gamble or Johnson and Johnson? One of these brands has like Ollie, this vitamin gummy, and they're going heavy on Amazon. In fact, I know the person managing some of the things for them, and they're crazy. In 10 years from now and 20 years from now, all these big brands are going to have massive Amazon teams and e-commerce. Right now, most of them don't. So it is the best time to go after a market if the top seller is someone who doesn't know how to really sell on Amazon, right? Like even huge kitchen brands like Cuisinart, everything's like that. Their listings a lot of times are ugly and they're bad. Those are great categories to go into, absolutely.
All right, Amanda Balcazar writes, and I think I gave you this answer, Amanda. I can also chime in on this too, but at what percentage can you increase and what frequency can you change your price without risking subscribe and save eligibility?
I don't know. Kitchen doesn't have subscribe and save. So do you have the answer to that, Chad?
Yeah, so what we do at Prophecy is we have a limit, an upside limit of 10% of an increase, but we are more focused on going down in price and up in prices. Obviously, you can decrease your price, do more unit velocity, like you talked about earlier, to maximize overall profit dollars. So we put a 10% cap on the model, and we've seen that to be a good sweet spot where it doesn't risk your subscribe and save eligibility.
And over time, like is that in 1 month, in 6 months, in 1 year? Like how often can you do the 10%?
We just keep it capped at 10%. So it doesn't go beyond the max. And then sometimes actually like with other brands that don't have subscribe and save, for example, we test pricing and explore pricing and essentially get the suppression, and then Amazon eventually gives you back the the, the buy box, etc. And so it's really good and helpful to explore and see what that match threshold is on Amazon. So instead of like having someone tell you what the match threshold is to really discover what the threshold is. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
That's probably a good strategy. And do you know if you get the subscribe and save back? Like if you have an item at 9.99 subscribe and save and you go to 15 and you lose it, can you just go back and get it back, or is it gone
Yeah.
forever?
So you just reset back to the original price.
Okay. Okay, cool.
All right. What net profit margin are you aiming for long-term post-launch?
Guys, I don't focus on the profit percentage. I honestly like we have it in Samurai. It's like one of the little columns, right? And it's there. But I honestly don't look at it.
So
At one point,
so let's just say you're focusing on absolute profit dollars. Is there ever a listing that you don't care about where you're like, hey, you know what, this product is an ankle biter. I don't want to focus on it anymore. I want to sunset it because it's just not enough absolute dollars at the end of the day of profit.
correct. So typically the way we sunset items is if it's making So we have me and my wife fight about this because she likes to discontinue items that have let's say less than $35 profit per day, and I go like that's a lot of money, and my threshold is always like somewhere between $11 to $15, right? If it's making $10 a day, guys, that's $3,000 a year, $300 a month. It can't pay for an employee, and it takes up your capital. So for me, if it's not making $10, then we like to get rid of it. Sometimes my wife wants like higher, and I'm like, no, stop it. Like my items that make $30, $25, like we'll keep them. Like let's go. So that's my threshold really. If the total dollars do not, of course, if it's like break even, that's easy, right? Or it loses money. Some items you can't even make it to make any money. Of course, you liquidate those, right? A lot of times, and liquidation items are awesome to sell on marketplaces, right? In fact, if you guys are not in a lot of marketplaces and you have a brand that you want to wholesale, we actually are buying. If you write to me, Aaron at bigbrandproducts.com or on LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever, send me a message. We'll buy products and sell to you on these different marketplaces, right? We have like one of the only accounts on Macy's, for example, like Kohl's. There's like some really good marketplaces. We found some items that actually suck on Amazon. When we put it to marketplaces, they make a ton of money. So even items that are losing money or making, less than $10 a day in profit, if we flip them and switch them, sometimes they do very well on different marketplaces. And we're buying right now. We have cash to buy wholesale. So
A lot of questions came in from, where'd they go? Charles Chicalo. He's got a lot of questions for you, Aaron. First one, do you leverage product inserts? What do they say?
So our inserts are here's what I do, right? Like I look at what is the top brand, right? The top brands, there's I guess two that come to mind, right? Anchor, right? They're at like 1.7 billion. They're probably like the top. But top in units sold is Utopia. I just had him on my podcast, Jabron Niaz. The guy's doing 700 million a year. Crazy freaking beast. You look at those top guys, what are their inserts? And that's where I go, okay, if I just do what some top guys doing, then I'll be safe. I know a lot of people that have gotten shut down for inserts made to remove tens of thousands of units. Inserts that are not allowed are like buy one, get one free, right? You can't do that. Like get a free bottle. If you give anything for free, that's not like a recipe book, like something of value of a product that you're doing, you are in extremely dangerous waters, and I don't recommend that, and we don't do that, okay? Back, I think in 2018, we had some inserts where people would get a free product, and then we heard that was coming, and we took it out, and luckily Amazon didn't do anything, right? But like, what we do now is literally what Anchor does. They have happy or not happy, like unhappy, contact us. Here's a phone number. Here's our text. Here's our email. Happy, like leave us a review, okay? No incentivize anything. No, don't leave us a 5-star review. Don't like, even that is like, oh, like I couldn't get Amazon to say, hey, that's okay and it's approved. Even I tried like, hey, look at this insert. Anchor has it. Can we have it? And they didn't say yes or no. So fine. Like I guess it's technically a risk, but like Anchor has it on every single one of their products. So we do that level where it's just, hey, call us if you have a problem or leave us a review, and that's it.
Nice. All right. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, including your time. So thank you, Aaron, for joining me today and allowing me to analyze your business and being so open and honest and authentic, sharing the good and the bad and the ugly of running a brand on Amazon. So we'll send a follow-up email. There will be no recording of this shared, unfortunately. So those that attended, thank you for spending time with us and taking time out of your day. Any future things anything else you want to share? Any parting thoughts, Aaron?
I'm gonna do rapid fire. I'm gonna do rapid fire on these answers. Super fast. Here we go. Which frequency of modify? You did that already. That's answered. What's consider a good margin? Oh, we did already. Oh, affiliate partners. Okay, check my podcast. Okay, I did a podcast with David Katz. We do affiliates with that guy. Would you have done this 2015? Your garlic press was only launched.
Wait, are you doing affiliates or
No.
not? What's the answer?
Yeah. We do affiliates. Of course. We do affiliates. Like, check it out. I have a whole podcast. Like, we use affiliates. Like, absolutely. Amazon affiliates, associates. We have a lot of different partners where we basically say, hey, use our link. They get 10%, and we'll give them another 10%. Right? There's a lot of guys that do that, and that's a great thing to be a part of. Okay. The garlic press, that launch did not cost a lot of money, so I would have done that in 2015 anyway. The guy at Philippines chose the keywords. So I chose the keywords to launch, but on the listing, honestly, yes, it's somebody in the Philippines just using some software. Like I choose what's called the kindergarten keyword. That's my strategy. Where can I win the fight? And I pick the easiest keyword and I go after that and I want to rank for that. Sometimes that's not the one that wins, but that's how I do it. What metrics are you looking for if you should adjust the price? We looked at that. Tacos for launching. I don't have a tacos launch. Like it could be 50%, it could be 70%, it could be 40%. Like if you have 20% tacos at launch, that's like you're doing amazing, right? But we do that sometimes, but typically, again, you could definitely go higher. And like the first few days, it could be 80%, 100%, 110%. Like your price is too high if it's over 100%.
Wait,
What's the name of the podcast? Aaron
Aaron,
Cordovez Show. What?
I had a friend text me a question who's on the webinar right now. Okay.
Oh,
This is a personal question. Okay.
I'm ready.
What do you think is his net margin on 80 million in revenue? 10% question mark?
That's a good question. I like it. That's a nice question. Nice question. Let's say, you know what? I won't share it, right? Because we have a lot of structures and different things and ownership. So the truth is, if you're at 10%, I would say you're doing fantastic. You're doing good. Like I would not criticize anybody at 10%. Let's put it that way. Okay, so what's the name of the podcast? Aaron Cordovez Show. Okay, very easy. Like if you can't find it, like I'm sorry, like just Aaron Cordovez Show. Pretty easy. Okay, is Aaron hiring? Yes, I'm hiring. Typically, if you want to really become an Amazon master, you're gonna have to come to Clearwater and live over here. We hire really in house or again like overseas, but we don't really pay US rates for anybody remote. So yes, we are hiring. What to do when a list is not showing the listing page when it's entered in the backend? Okay, I hate this issue. I've seen it. I don't know, man. Call Amazon. Have someone just call Amazon full time. Do you know the answer? Sometimes I've had products that we sell for a lot and randomly the price will disappear. I don't know the answer, but somebody worked on it and within a week we generally get it fixed. So call Amazon over and over. Get different people on the phone. Make a bunch of cases. Like do flat files. Change all the list. Like change your pricing. Just work on it. Just don't give up, guys. The number one thing is when you have a problem. If you don't give up and you continue to call Amazon, you continue to ask in forums, you continue to ask in here, like you'll find some sort of answer. Just keep trying it. Okay. Our review response is 0.3 out of 16,000 review requests, and it is why it's so low. That's not uncommon. 0.3% is probably around where our review rate is. We're like a 0.5%, something like that. 0.5% to one. And I would say do review button and do the reviews. You have to do both. You could probably get to maybe 0.5%. But like I think 1% rate of review is pretty high. When I last calculated it, the reviews, I don't know, actually maybe it went up after the ratings. But guys, you're not going to get a 5% review rate, 3% review rate. Like if you're at 1%, like you're doing pretty good. If you're at 2%, you're probably like a killer. Like that's typically what we look at. Okay, that's the bottom of it. Let me just see. I think I lose everything. Did I lose
team
money
structure.
at the beginning? Oh, team structure. Changes all the time. Okay, I use typically what's called like a 7-division organizing board. So it's a business structure. And we have the hiring, we have all the sourcing together, we have all the finance, and we have all like the sales together. We have a quality control, we have social media, and then we have an executive division. So we all work together and we do different things. And so the big piece is the strongest pieces of the business are product development and your future. Okay, what are your future products? Even if you have a number one seller, if you're not innovating that product, you're screwed. So that's my baby. Those are the guys that I put some of my strongest people on. Is what are the new products going to be? What's the new sourcing? And then the sales. Those are, and then design. I mean, everything's important, guys. But there you go. Okay, did I lose money in the beginning? I lost money, but not for very long, guys. I have a screenshot of the one that I showed you. By May of 2020, this thing was doing hundreds and hundreds of dollars profit per day, the garlic press. And that was, again, only a few months after launch. It wasn't a year and a half. So, yes. Have I leveraged the attribution program? Yes. If I do any links, of course, I use that. What's the benefit of variation? Guys, variations, you must do variations. If you don't do variations, you literally are losing out on so much power because there is, if you have a listing and you have a product, they can say, do I want to buy this or do I not want to buy it? That's the person's thought. If you have 6 variations, they're thinking, which one should I buy? And they're looking through them. So change the person's thought process from should I buy this or which one should I buy? Okay. Without that, you're basically screwed. Okay, good. I think we're here. I think we're good. I may have missed some, but that was all
Right,
rapid fire.
if any other questions come in, just email me Chat at Prophecy, and we'll actually shoot them out over as an email to everyone who joined as a follow-up. I think that's a great idea. So if anybody has additional questions they were maybe afraid to ask or they didn't get to ask, please just drop those in an email to us, and we'll be happy to get those your way. Peace and love, everybody from Costa Rica. Aaron, thank you so much for being so open and honest, and thanks everyone for joining. Till next time on the next AMA.
Thanks a lot, Chad. Peace. Thanks, guys, for joining. Bye.